are you guys all doing today? Good. All right, let's get us all started with an activity. First off, show of hands. Who here has run a mile? Hands up. Who here has run 2 miles? All right, pretty good. Who here has run 5 miles? All right. I'm seeing our track and field people coming now. All right, who here has run 10 miles? 10 miles? Wow, I'm impressed. Alright. Now, who here has run 20 miles? Okay, I didn't think so. That's okay, I didn't run 20 miles either. That's alright. Now, I asked you this question because this morning I want to talk about a topic called running the race. And running the race is about finding your purpose. And here's why. All of you guys raise your hand for 1 mile. Some of you guys raise your hand for 5, some for 10, but no one here raised your hand for 20. Now imagine 100 miles. Imagine if you had to run on forever. Just look at this picture. If you had to run on forever, how many of you would just kind of start giving up by the first mile or something? Yeah, that'd be me. I'd be like, you kidding me? I can't see the finish line. Why am I running this, right? Well, today, I want to share something with you. Just imagine for a moment I'm here. We're all here at, let's say this is the starting line, all right? And let's say if we think of our life as a race, the finish line, the day we die, is that door over there, okay? The exit right there, or the exit over there, that's the exit, all right? We're starting here. Now most of us, all right, young people, are kind of around here, right? We passed the finish line, you're not baby, right? You're kind of around here in school, maybe some of the older folks here, maybe a little bit farther, maybe around here. But none of us are quite at that door yet, right? But guess what? Most of us spend most of our life thinking about just right here, right now. How many of us think about what's outside those doors? How many of us think about what's going on past that? What happens after we die? What happens when we get out of those doors into the rest of eternity? Have you guys thought about that? Have you guys thought about how big the world is? Right? How much there is to explore? I know I haven't thought of it as that much. I mean, I'm just so stuck in this building. I'm so stuck where I am. I don't spend that much time thinking about what's outside. What's past? What's eternity like? But today, I want to address something about this race. Because I think the most important thing about running this race is finding your purpose. And I want to see how many of you agree with me. So another show of hands. You can put up your fingers from 0 to 10. How many of you guys believe you guys want to live a life of purpose? From 0 to 10. Show of hands. You can get average. All right, I'm pretty much seeing 10 all around. Right? All of us want to live a life of purpose. But maybe the better question to ask is, how? How do we live this life of purpose? Right? How do we go about finding our purpose? Well, let me tell you first what purpose isn't, okay? I've had a couple people come up to me while I've been in ministry, and one common thing I hear people say to me is, Pastor, I just want to be happy. I mean, I just want my family happy, I want my friends to be happy, I want my coworkers to be happy. I just want to live a happy life. Now, unfortunately, happiness is not a purpose. Sorry to tell you, happiness is not a purpose. It's a temporary feeling. It's not a purpose. In fact, I think happiness, we always pursue happiness as our purpose. We might actually be doing ourselves a disfavor. Think about it. If all I thought was happiness, maybe I wouldn't really go out and do the hard work it takes to be a good basketball player. Because it's hard work. Or I went through the good work of being a good student, getting good grades. If all I wanted to be was happy, I just stay at home, play video games, hang out with my friends. What's the point? What's the point of doing all this hard work, right? Well, you might be saying, yeah, but Alex, you're just giving all these hypothetical scenarios. Well, let me give you one, a real life scenario. I was on a plane this last week to Nashville, Tennessee, to attend a conference called Q Conference. And on the plane, I was sitting down. I didn't know the person next to me. I just asked her, hey, where are you heading? She was heading to the exact same place, the Q Conference. Now, I was going in as a listener. I was going there to participate. be one of the people listening to all these great speakers. She was actually one of those great speakers. Little did I know. Her name was Meredith. You wouldn't think she was a great speaker, from the looks. She was very humble, didn't really stand out. But once I started hearing her story, I'm telling you, I was so incredibly moved. Meredith was just, actually, I think a year younger than I am, not that much older. And she's been in China the last 4 years of her life. And you would ask, why is she in China? Well, she felt a calling by God to go there and raise a nonprofit, start up a nonprofit to raise funds for families and kids who need heart surgeries. Kids who would never get heart surgeries otherwise. Poor people, people who couldn't afford the heart surgeries. And she said the reason why she was inspired to do that is because of her adopted sister, who was Chinese. But here's the crazy thing. Meredith isn't even Chinese. Meredith isn't even Asian. And yet she went out to China by herself to start this because she felt called by God. Now let me ask you, do you think Meredith went there so she could be happy? To be alone, away from family and friends? No. But she did this because she knew God was calling her to do this. So I'm telling you, happiness is not a purpose. But you'll be asking, if happiness is not a purpose, then what is our purpose, right? Well, my second point. Let me keep going about what purpose is. Second thing, I believe our purpose should lead us to share the gospel wherever and whenever God leads us to do that. I love this quote by a person called Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Who's heard about him before? Yeah, all right, you all should. Now he said this, listen carefully. I gotta read this carefully to you guys. I am not who I am supposed to be until you are who you are supposed to be. You guys catch that? Let me read it again. I am not who I am supposed to be until you are who you are supposed to be. Wow, think about that for a moment. That means that our purpose is connected. It's not just about myself. It's not just about my own purpose. Our purpose is actually intertwined with the people around us, with our community, with our family, with our friends, with our coworkers. It's all intertwined. What Dr. Martin Luther King, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was saying is that in this life, you can't do it alone. There's a saying, if you want to go fast, you run alone. But if you want to go far, you go as a team, right? And that's what this life is about. It's about going far, not just about how fast you run. And I'll explain that later. And third, last thing I have to say about purpose is, it might sound a little disappointing, but here it is, important truth for you to realize now while you're young. No one, I'm telling you, no one, not your mom, not your dad, not your uncle, not your grandpa, not your teachers, not your coach, no one can tell you what your purpose is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say that to you, but here's the thing. You can discover what your purpose is, but no one can tell you what your purpose is. All right? But that doesn't mean you shouldn't listen to your mom or your dad or your grandpa or your coach or your teachers here. You should. But they can only guide you towards finding your purpose for yourself. They cannot tell you what your purpose is. Can I get an amen? Amen. All right, cool. All right. Now, let me give you an illustration. In 1896, this is one of the early Olympics in Athens. These guys were preparing for the 100-meter sprint. Now, I want to ask you a question. Who do you think won this sprint? Which of those runners? Yeah. The guy all the way on the left. Do I have any other? Oh yeah, in the back?
The guy who's like, the fourth one.
The fourth one from the left. How many people agree with him? The fourth one from the left. All right? So, who's a track and field? Who runs track and field here? Okay, over there. Track and field. What do you think is the best stance right there? The running stance, the sprint. The one that he's on the block, and which one is that? The second one from the left. And you guys are right. Good job. Give me a round of applause. Second one on the left. Because runners know nowadays that that's your running block stance. That's the way you sprint. That's the way you get off the block the fastest. But guess what? In 1896, in the Olympic in Athens, this guy, Thomas Edmund Burke, Tom for short, risked everything that day by running this way. Because you see, before him, no one else had ever started off the block like this. People thought he was crazy. People were like, why are you staring at the ground? Like, do you want to just like dig yourself into the dirt? Like everyone else is kind of looking ahead, kind of preparing. You see one guy kind of crouching, kind of like preparing. But this guy was the first guy to put his hands on the ground and say, I'm not looking at the end, I'm just going to sprint out here as fast as I can. He was the first one to do this. And guess what? He won the gold medal at that race in Athens. And not only that, he also made the world record, which at that time was 11.8 seconds for the 100-meter sprint, which back then was very fast. Nowadays, we have a lot faster sprinters, but that was 11.8 seconds. So what's the purpose? What's the takeaway? I guess the takeaway from this point is that sometimes your purpose is figuring out your purpose. Did you think that Tom knew this right away when he was a kid? Oh, I'm going to run the Olympics and I'm going to run like that. I'm going to put my hands on the ground and take off just like that. No. Throughout his life, when he was running, he practiced. He probably experimented different stances, and this is what he came up with. He was creative, and he discovered, this is my purpose. I'm going to run the Olympics like this and do my best. And he did. So, some of you in the room right now might be freaking out a little, right? I think I was kind of freaking out when I heard some of this before. And I said, what do I do? I mean, how do I choose my vocation? How do I choose what I'm going to do with my life if I don't even know my own purpose? Right? Well, I'm going to give you some comfort here in this next slide. Don't worry too much because guess what? Most people in college don't know what their purpose really is. And I was one of those people. All right, it says about 80% of students in the United States end up changing their major, according to the National Center for Education Statistics. And I think that's pretty true because I'm pretty much the average. I changed my major 3 times in college. All right, I was a filming major, engineering major, kind of found I was going to be a Bible major, and finally settled on psychology. All right, so average 3 majors is pretty accurate. But not only that, on average, students, they change their major at least 3 times. 80%. 80% of students change their majors. All right, that means 8 out of 10 of you in here, all right, every 10 people are going to change their majors. That means most of you are going to change your majors. So it's not uncommon for people to not know your purpose or your vocation, all right? That's okay. Now, let me give you some hope here. All right, let me give you some hope. Now, there's a story in the Bible where God chooses a leader. Because sometimes in our life, no matter what happens, whether or not you choose to follow God's purpose in your life, here's the thing. God can use you to achieve his purpose and his glory. But if some people in life don't want to do that, they say, no, God, that's not for me. I'm going to do my own thing. Well, guess what? God will still get his purpose done. It's God's sovereign. God's will be done. So if you think about a story, there's a great story in the Bible I love. It's King Saul and King David. And when King Saul decided to do his own thing, he disobeyed God, God said, I'm going to raise up a new leader. And who did he choose? He chose David, the shepherd boy. The least likely candidate for a king, right? There's all his big brothers on the other side. They're like, huh? What's going on? Why did they choose David? I mean, he's just a shepherd boy. Why did Nathan choose David? But God saw something in David. Right? He saw someone that was willing to follow after God, to put aside his own purposes and to follow God. Right? Now that's one example. Now here's another example. I believe God also gives people second chances about their purpose. And so you might be going through life like saying, oh, I wanted to do this, I've been doing this my own way. But then God meets you where you're at. And then you're like, oh shoot, all my life I've been doing my own thing, but I need to follow God now. And that's what happened to a person named Saul. Saul was on the road to Damascus. And what happened to Saul? Jesus met him. And before that time, before Saul became Paul, he was like the worst person Christians. He was like the Hitler, of that time. He was persecuting Christians. He had Stephen martyred. He did a lot of horrible stuff. But Jesus met him, stopped him on the road, and said, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? From that point on, Paul realized Jesus was alive. Jesus was real. He had messed up. He had messed up big time. He had put to death people who believed in Jesus. He said, from now on, I'm going to use my life to serve Jesus no matter what happens. And he ended up becoming the greatest evangelist for the gospel. Now some of you are guessing, okay, I got some of these stories. Okay, that's good. I have a little bit of hope. So back to the question, how do we find our purpose? I think the best role model for this, I think the role model all of us as Christians should always look at is Jesus. Right? Jesus. And I'm thinking very specifically, right before Jesus starts his ministry, right before he gets into all the ministry and miracles, there's this really special moment the Bible records. It's a scene with God the Father speaking to his son, Jesus. And this is what he says. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. So God, at the very beginning, God the Father shared a purpose. He said to Jesus, his Son, this is my Son, in whom I am well pleased. Right? And I think this is very important as we think of our purpose. Have you ever thought that God is your Heavenly Father, and he has told you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and everyone here, he is also saying to you, you are my children. You are my son, you are my daughter, and I am well pleased with you. That's what God looks at us. God looks at us the same way he looks at his son, Jesus. That is so important as we begin discovering purpose. All right, so for those of us in the room who are still trying to say, like, okay, Pastor Alex, I believe in you. I believe I need to discover my purpose. I just still don't know how. Can you help me out? Okay, well, I'll hope things I can hopefully help you out a little bit. Because like I said, I can't tell you what your purpose is. You have to discover it for yourself. But here's some things to help us out. Hebrews 12:1-2 says, therefore, we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith. Let us strip aside every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that easily trips us up. And let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. First truth, you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid that you don't know your purpose yet. And one of these best pictures of this that I was thinking about, what is this picture that I've seen? What's like a modern, relevant analogy? And I thought something kind of a little funny, but I think also very relevant and makes sense to me. And it's the story, I wouldn't guess it, of Harry Potter. Alright, Harry Potter, who likes Harry Potter here? Alright, this was like the big book when I was coming out in like middle school, high school. Like Harry Potter was the most controversial and like biggest book, biggest bestseller. Alright. So basically the scene I'm picturing is the scene at the end of the Goblet of Fire. If you've read the book or watched the movie, and if you haven't, you should, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but here it is. There's this phrase, it's repeated again in Harry Potter, in most of the books, and who's an English teacher in here? When there's a repeated scene in the movie, I believe this was called, but correct me if I'm wrong, this repeated scene I'm thinking about is called, is the scene where he casts a spell and he says, expecto patronum, right? And when someone says that and it repeats throughout, it's a very important theme, is it called a motif? Okay. Yeah, okay, alright, I think so. It's called a motif or something similar to it. It's an important theme in the movie. And if you watch this, basically at the end of the story you realize, quiet down for a second. You realize every time he casts this spell, no matter what your thoughts on Harry Potter, just think about this theme, is that he casts a spell, he has to think of the best and happiest memories in his life. And every time he thinks about it, he thinks about his family, about his mom and dad that he lost, about of his friends who had made sacrifices for the cause, right? And every time he passes, he gets to think about all these happy memories, beautiful memories. And so expecto patronum, this is what I think of when I think of Hebrews 12:1 and 2. This cloud of witnesses. Alright, guys, you all have a cloud of witnesses. What that means is you have a cloud of people in your life. Your parents, your grandparents, your friends, your pastors, your teachers, all these different people are your cloud of witnesses. They love you. They want the best for you. They're supporting you. And not only that, there's all the saints of heaven. All the people who have gone before us, they're also rooting for us. Not only that, but there's God. God himself is our greatest witness. He's always watching you, encouraging you, hoping, cheering you on, discovering your purpose. Now, second thing, Hebrews 12:2 says, we do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith. Because of the joy awaiting him, he endured the cross, disregarding its shame, and now he is seated in a place of honor beside God's throne. Guys, the second truth, guys and girls, in this race that we call life, the best thing we can do in life is keep our eyes on Jesus. He is the author. He is the perfecter of our faith. So trust me, if there's one thing you can do in life to help you discover your purpose, is to look at Jesus. Jesus is our role model. If you're a Christian, if you call yourself a Christian, Jesus is the one we look to. He is the source of our strength. He is the source of our faith. And he's the perfecter of our faith. That means that he will work on us. He will mold us. He will help us to discover our purpose. And finally, here's the last part of my message. Further on in Hebrews 12:14-15a, says this: work at living in peace with everyone. Work at living a holy life. For those who are not holy will not see the Lord. Look after each other so that none of you fails to receive the grace of God. Guys and girls, one way we can live out our purpose, even if we don't know our purpose yet, one way we can do this is by living out Hebrews 12:14-15. You know, I'm 28 years old, and I just recently have gone through a lot of transitions in my own life. I'm still discovering parts of my purpose, of what God wants me to do. I've been in full-time church ministry for around 7 years now. Can't believe it. It's like right out of college, I started full-time ministry. And I am still discovering what God's purpose is in my life. God is still teaching me new things. And that's okay. It's okay to have not all figured it out yet. But it's important to look to Jesus. And it's important, like 14 and 15 says in this verse, that we are to live at peace with everyone. We are to work at living a holy life. So my challenge to you this morning, this afternoon, is this. Think about this race. I gave you this analogy right in the beginning. Think about that race we call life, getting to the end of our life. Think about it. What does it mean to win in this race? Because if you think it's the first person to get to the end of that line, none of us are going to get the gold medal. Because people have passed away before us, right? And there's going to be people that come after us. If you go back to the Bible, way in the beginning, who's the first two people? Adam and Eve. Guess what? I'm pretty sure they are way ahead of us on this race called life. They're way off in eternity already. And think about this, if you want to do a little thinking in the Bible. Adam and Eve aren't even the first two people to have died. According to what I've read, it was their son, Abel. Cain and Abel. Cain murders his own brother, Abel. So I'm pretty sure, if you want to tweet this, I think Abel is the gold medalist in this race called life. If we think chronologically, if we think time-wise, Abel's the first. He was the first to die, according to what I understand from the Bible. So what does it mean to be really winning this race? I don't think it's about the first to cross the line, which is why I share with you, you can run the race really fast if you go alone, but it's better to run together. go farther. So I think running the race is more about going in together. What does that mean to go about it together? Not just by yourself. Well, here's a thought. Recently, there was the London Annual Marathon, 2017, just like a week or two ago. And there was this race. Anyone hear this in the news, Facebook, tweet? Okay, maybe some of you guys. Here's Matthew Reese on the left-hand side. And there's another runner on his right called David Wyatt. All right, now here's the thing. Here's the thing you can't really quite see from the picture, and you can't see from this, but if you watch the video, you'll see what happens. David was at the very end of the marathon, and he was probably dehydrated, tired. He fell. And he tried to get back up. He fell again. And his runner, Matthew, right next to him, came up to him and saw that this guy had fallen. And he said to himself, this is what he said in the article to the news. He said, I took the final corner thinking, right, it's nearly done, time to sprint. And I saw this guy, and his legs just crumbled below him. I saw him try to stand up again, and his legs just went down again. And I thought, this is more important. Getting him across the line is more important than shaving a few seconds off my time. So I will end with this. The Bible never says the gold prize is the first one across the line, right? I believe. What if we think about this in a different way? What if it's maybe the real prize, like Matthew, helping a fellow runner get across that finish line? Maybe the real prize in our life is like Thomas Burke. Remember Tom? In the way beginning, 1896 Olympics in Athens, was about trying something completely new. Something no one else had ever tried in human history, to try running this way in the Olympics. He was ridiculed, he was laughed at, he did it anyway. What happens if the real medal is about doing that? Being brave enough to do something different. So if you guys close your eyes, bow your heads with me, I'm going to say a prayer. Heavenly Father, this morning, I think you've convicted me, I think you've convicted some of us here, that we need to rethink the way we live our life. We need to rethink the way we are running the race. And if we do, we will remember what our purpose is. We will discover what our purpose is. We will find out that our role model is you. Our role model is Jesus Christ. I pray you will help us to be that Matthew to someone else, to help someone else along this race of my life. Or to be that Tom, to be that person who says, I'm going to try something no one else has ever tried, and I don't care what anyone else says, but I'm doing this for God. I'm doing this because I know this is my purpose. I pray today you will work on our hearts, help us to discover what the real prize in life is. That's to run this race with you. We thank you and praise you. And all God's people said, Amen.